Well, we knew it was going to be a busy summer here at Bristol City in a transfer window. It's been frustrating at times, it's been annoying, we've had issues with work permits, wages, and many other things. But ultimately, bar one player we can't shift, we've ended up with a pretty good squad. Let's go and check it out and head into our first game, a banana skin against a newly promoted club. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 9 and season 2 of Built in Bristol with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Plymouth Argyle in the Championship and the first day of the 23-24 season. And we have also got an awful lot of transfer work to reflect on. But as you can see from one of the alerts on the home screen, Alex Scott is still at this club. That is despite the fact the chairman had an offer too good to refuse from Bournemouth for £22.5 million. Alex Scott decided Bournemouth wasn't for him. He's waiting for Brentford or Spurs. But for now, we have still got him in the ranks and we have got a whole host of other very good players. So either way, I feel like we can push for the playoffs again. And maybe if the players develop through the season, go one better this time around. If you're looking forward to finding out if we do and seeing what on earth has been happening this summer, so I think we have still basically made a transfer profit. And please do put a thumbs up on it. You can check all the other playlists and key stuff up in the eye above, including the real life championship predictions over from the podcast channel. But let's start with the transfer screen because we've got a lot to get through and not much time to do it. So let's talk about what's happened. First things first, we've got the release players, which is largely a bunch of youngsters, there's no doubt in that. However, 2 players did feature in the first team squad last year. Andy King barely kicked a ball, maybe a couple in the cup if we were lucky. Yeah, he made 1 cup start at the start of the season. He was also part of the coaching team but has now left the club. Jada Silva played a little bit more than that, but we knew he was moving on. He didn't want to stay, and quite frankly, we'd already bought his replacement last summer, who has now returned from his loan spell. But with that out of the way, let's get on to the deals that have been done during the summer. Let's start with all of the outs, and we begin the window with a couple of loan deals to lower leagues, Ben Acey probably being the biggest name among them. And then Rob Atkinson was the first permanent man out the door. He'd been wanting to leave all year because he'd been complaining and not training well and playing to his potential. He never reached that potential he had, and as a result, he didn't improve. He wasn't good enough, and he's gone off to Motherwell for £250,000, where hopefully he learns and does well. We did also loan out one of our signings from the year before, which was Alfie McCalmon. He went on loan to Carlisle after we signed him last summer. This time he's gone to Plymouth, who we play on the opening day today, but he is expected to be involved in their squad, and if he can get some championship football, will be a great learning ground for him before he comes back to us. Last chance saloon for him at 23. We'll come back to Adam Mayer. We've talked about him before in this save, but he did join us this summer. And then a big one is Andreas Weimann. That basically doubled our transfer budget and the available wage. He left for Coventry for £3.5 million. He's 31, he had 1 year left on his contract, and he wanted to go up from 15 grand a week to about 45, which wasn't happening. So he has now gone, he's turned 32, and he is at Coventry, where he's earning 24 grand a week. So he is doing a little bit better, but he had his spells last year. We never really got the best of him because he was so intent on moving on. If we move on to this year for the rest of the outs, you can see all the ins on the other side. But the outs are what we're focusing on. A few free agents. We knew that Nikita Hykin was leaving. Our first choice goalkeeper has gone to Turkey, but don't worry, you can see we've replaced him. And then further down, a couple of youngsters moving on permanently, like Sam Pearson. Nominal fees for them. Shadrach Ogie, who we signed last summer from Orient, he's gone on loan to Fleetwood in League One, where hopefully he'll continue to improve. Maybe 1 year away from being a first team player. Stefan Bajic has gone out on loan again, this time to Real Oviedo. 21 years of age next year, should come back and replace Max O'Leary, who wants to leave at the end of his contract. And then right near the bottom, we've got a couple more outs going on loan to Derby who need to be reflected on the inside. Kane Wilson, last year's backup right back, has gone on loan to Swansea. He has been replaced by an unorthodox replacement by my standards. And then further down, not much going on, just a few youngsters going out. So you can see the big sale of the summer was Weimann. We've picked up other little bits of money here or there. And there's one big name, an experienced name, who we thought it was going to be hard to get off the books, and it has proven that way. But we've got to talk about the ins, because I am thrilled with the work that we've done this summer. If you count the fact that the likes of Sean Ruffin have come back from loan to be our backup left back this year, we've added a huge number of players to this squad, but generally this window we've waited for permanent solutions. So, for example, in goal, we got in a free agent, which you've probably seen the name of, but prior to that, we had a loan deal in place with James Trafford from Manchester City, with Jamie Cumming from Chelsea, but we ignored both of them to get a permanent one. And I've tried to get players who we're going to make a profit on, or who are at least going to develop in the future. So Sam Surridge is the first big first team summer signing this year. He came in from Forest for $500,000. They did get relegated in this save. He's got all the attributes I like. He's 25, but he's still got a bit of potential. Only turned 25 last week as well. Played a few games a couple of years ago for England's 21s. Has got a good all-round game up front. And again, is 6'3", is good in the air, but also has those physical advantages to run in behind. And those of you who have followed the Build a Nation save will know why that's been so useful for me. But where we had Naki Wells getting worse and still at the club, and Lyle Taylor ending his loan, it did seem like a good option to bring in a younger striker who's normally fit and can hopefully produce the goods over the season. He's done really well in pre-season against relatively poor opposition, but a good personality, room to grow into. All he needs now is the football. So he was the first one to come in. I will mention Adam Mayer, who has returned to Morecambe after joining for 300 grand. He is a 19-year-old left back, left winger, striker, right winger, utility man. But he's got potential. He was wanted by Sheffield United. He was wanted by 2 or 3 other clubs of that ilk, and we managed to get the deal done. He's got all the core attributes to be a decent player. It's just how much he develops now. So he's going to play the season at Morecambe again. He'll come back and we'll assess where he is. He's someone who could make it, but at the very least should make us a profit. This year, though, we've got 7 more, and as you can see, only 2 of them are loan signings, both from Liverpool, as Reece Williams was last year. We tried, but failed to get him again. First up, though, was our replacement goalkeeper. I was all set to bring Trafford in. We were about 1 day from his confirmation, and then we got the news that this guy was available. A free agent in Nathan Baxter, who has turned 24 years of age, 3-star ability, 4-star potential, and he's going to come in and be first choice. He's professional, he's determined, he's got good distribution, his reflexes are excellent, he's 6'3". I know there's probably the liability for 1 or 2 clangers a season, given the fact that his mental stats aren't the best, but we had that with Hiking and his eccentricity, so I'm not hugely worried about it. And you've got to look at the fact he's played 2 full seasons virtually in the Championship. He only wanted 9 grand a week, which was crucial here. We let Hiking go because he wanted a pay rise from 5 grand to 25. And the idea this summer has been that we don't go mad. And I feel like in this case, we've managed to control it well. 9 grand a week for a first choice keeper, plenty of room to improve. I'm really happy with him. I'm also happy with the next signing, albeit he's not one for the immediate future, because we are keeping an eye out, as well as for the here and now, for the next couple of years too. And Malachi Fagan Walcott is one of those. You can see already he's gone on loan to Derby. But he's a young centre-half who is incredibly determined, got great acceleration, great jumping reach, all his physical stats are good, he's strong in a tackle and his positioning's great. The rest of the game needs a bit of work. Now, a year on loan at Derby after playing some games for St Johnstone last year, I feel are going to either make or break him. He's someone who, again, we've got on a 2 or 3 year deal, so if he doesn't do great this year, we just sell him on and make a $500,000, million profit, whatever it is. But if he does develop and he does become a star, we've got ourselves another great free centre-half. So one that was definitely worth the risk and only on 3 grand a week, which Derby are paying. The next 2 are the immediate future. Yes, they're both youngsters on loan from Liverpool, but they're going to be crucial to our promotion push this year. We couldn't get Reece Williams back, so we got the next best thing. Stefan Bajatic is our new centre-half. The great thing with him is he's brilliant on the ball. Not quite as good in the air, not quite as strong, mentally superb, very steady Eddie type, and also just 18 years of age, so should continue to develop throughout the season. Natural in the holding role as well, and the fact that he likes to bring the ball out of defence could be a real asset for us alongside Cal Naismith. So 18-year-old Bajatic is the centre-half, which means Sepp van Berg, who is another centre-back from Liverpool, is going to be our first choice right-back this year, which is a little bit unusual for me, I must say. He's also on less than 10 grand a week on loan, a 21-year-old Dutch youth international who's had a couple of seasons at Preston in real life and a year at Schalke in the real world last year. He's played 3 good seasons of senior football now. And he actually works pretty well for me as a right back because one of the things I moaned about last year was a lack of height. And in the box, to have a right back now who is going to be able to deal with the back post crosses, we could switch him and Bajcetic if need be, but for now it makes sense. Another great personality who doesn't dive into tackles, and another one who's comfortable bringing the ball out. So overall, we've got ourselves a very good back four now. Pringer's ended his moaning unhappiness. Naismith is a good player, but not mobile enough, and needs to add the mobility, add the physicality, and also add quality on the ball. I could not be happier with that. The next signing is a little bit of a gamble, who again has gone back on loan to his former club. And those of you who followed my Twitch save in FM23 will know Louis Sibley very well. He is a Derby centre midfielder. We got him for 700 grand. They've stayed down in League One and we've taken advantage. He's got massive potential. He's not reached it yet. I'm actually going to keep an eye on him till the end of the window and see if he plays regularly. If he doesn't, I'll probably bring him back and get him on the bench here. But a really good youngster. Again, 8 grand a week in wages. We're trying to build for the future and build sustainably on the financial side, which those of you that have followed this channel a while will know I always do. Of course, it's easy to play FM, get a team of players in for 30 grand a week and get them promoted. We want to do things properly as it would be done in the real world. And Louis Sibley, maybe from next season on, will be a very big part of that. The big surprise this summer, though, is the man that popped up in a scout report last week and joined the club just 2 days ago. Probably too soon to get him in the lineup today. But Marco Bulat is the man I didn't expect to get. He wanted to go to other clubs more than us, and he is the highest paid player at the club with Masengo. But what a player he is. 21-year-old Croatian youth international, 3-star ability, 5-star potential, highly sought after in the real world, has played a full season at Dinamo now, and he's got big potential, this kid. He is a player who, no matter what we do and how well he performs for this team, will make this club a profit. If he doesn't play a game this year and we sell him next summer, we'll get double the money we've signed him for. So it's a no-brainer on that front. He's a brilliant player. He does add into the tactical style I want to implement on the road this year. I've tried to train a second tactic that adapts slightly so we can try and pick up more results away from home. And this holding midfielder role is going to help him as well as training as a box-to-box midfielder. You can see he's good enough going forward. He's got a great long shot on technique. He's someone I'm looking to for the future. So Marco Bulat, the big signing of the summer, 3.2 million. When you say it's less than we sold Weimann for, it's a pretty good deal, isn't it? But to replace Weimann and make sure we've got enough in the squad, Anthony Knockaert comes in. He is very much the other end of the scale. 31, but on less than 5 grand a week, and it allows us to loan out Sam Bell. Oxford want him in League One to go and play regular football there, and it just means that he can develop while we have this guy for a year. He's very solid still, physically he's alright, and he's got all the attributes. So as a squad player, no problems at all. What is a problem though, as we move on to the players that were already here, is Conway and Cornick. The two wingers, well, they are desperate to get out. They want new deals on ridiculous money again. We're talking 25, 30 grand a week, and I'm not paying it. So we might end up losing players like Harry Cornick, which would be a shame because he's been brilliant and he's a great pro in the real world. But in this save, for some reason, and we've seen it in the Reading save on Twitch as well since the January update, there is a big problem with wage demands and they are beyond what you would even expect in the real world. So not quite sure how we resolve it, but for now, those two could be off if the right deal comes in, particularly in the case of Cornick, who's now 28. But let me know what you think of the transfer window. I think we're in a really strong position now. We've got Bell, who's going out on loan next week. Viner will probably do the same this window. And as I mentioned, we just cannot shake Naki Wells from the squad, but he's still good enough technically to play a part. It's just whether he can do enough physically. If we need to bring him on for a shootout or something in the cup, then maybe he'll be a star. We have also got back from loan the likes of Ruffin and of course Noah Masengo, who is our highest paid player. He is an absolute gem in centre midfield. He's been the best trainer at the club almost every week in pre-season, and I feel like he's going to have a big year. It does mean with Masengo, with Scott, with Bulat, with Williams, we've got one hell of a midfield at this level. If we can keep people fit for the year, I feel like we're going to be a real threat. For now though, let's go and get into our first fixture as we have to register Anthony Knockaert for the squad. We have had Conway out for the last 2 or 3 weeks, so he might be a fitness doubt today. But we go away to newly promoted Plymouth, who have got that momentum and confidence in the club. And we didn't finish the season that well, quite frankly, so it might not be as easy as we think. Let's go and pick our 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Will there be many surprises in this team? I doubt it, quite frankly. Well, in addition to all of the people that we've talked about already, if you want someone who's going to feel like a new signing this year, what about Benarous on the bench? Out for the whole of last season injured, now 20 years of age. He is effectively our Vyman replacement, but I've got the option in just in case. So with Bell going out on loan as well, Knockhart covers those two. But I've got big feelings about this lad, and I do think he's going to be a bit of a start. We'll wait and see if he can stay fit and if he can push on physically. Perhaps the only real surprises today are the fact that Mark Sykes is out on the right with Cornick on the left. That's because Conway is on the bench and I don't trust Benarous just yet. We're going to build them into the season. We don't want to go crazy. Marco Bulat the same, only joined around 48 hours ago. And Matty James declining physically, but I want to keep him involved because he's been our biggest supporter off the pitch. The only one who stayed on board with me. He's gone against all of his teammates. He's a big ally. And in home games, I'm going to trust him to do a job. Outside the squad, we've still got quality. We'll hopefully do better in the cup this year. But this is the 11 for the opening day with a couple of tactical tweaks. So first of all, Baxter's in goal. Sweeper keeper on defend rather than attack. We've got to try and stem the flow of goals somehow. And he may be part of that. Vandenberg out at right back with Pring on the left. A much more physical back four. Pring's decent in the air at 5'10". Vandenberg 6'4". With Bajcetic and Naismith in the middle. It's a much more powerful defence. Williams and Masengo to midfield too. Not sure how to balance it out yet with Masengo, whether to go defensive duty or support. We'll decide as the games go on. And then on the wings is Cornick and Sykes with Scott behind Surridge, the new boy up front. Let's just see how we get on today. Set pieces are going to be a bit different. We've got more of a threat in the box. And of course, in Sam Surridge, we've got a man we want in the goals. So he's going to be our penalty taker. Through to the opening day against Plymouth. Let's try and avoid a shock on the road. Well, into the first half against Plymouth, and of course there's some familiar names from their side, Mike Cooper the goalkeeper among others, but look at some of the new names in there. They've gone incredibly experienced at the back in the summer. Maya Yoshida, Ender Stevens and Nathaniel Klein all joining their back four. Maybe we can take advantage physically, we'll wait and see. Stephen Schumacher, done a job in game, he's done in real life. So let's see how we get on in the first half. Alex Scott, much more mentally secure today. He played in the under-21s in the summer. Well, let's see how he gets on in this one. Plymouth will start the game trying to go on the front foot, and hopefully we catch them on the counter. It was last season, wasn't it? The first day at Hull, we managed to get those goals on the break, but it was a happy and flowing Harry Cornick then. What will it be this time? Oh, for the first time we've had the set-piece threat. Cal Naismith to the back post. It was Sepp Vandenberg up. Not the best header in the world, but it was a good chance, and that's something we've got to be hopeful from. And this time, we've done it again. And it's not the main man we expected. Stefan Bajcetic is up there. He is the second man attacking after Vandenberg. And that was a great header from about 16 yards. Looped it over the goalkeeper. I know we've improved the height and the physicality of the team a bit. I must say, I didn't expect it to be our main threat. I guess we'll learn more as the game goes on and as we defend our own set pieces. That one, not particularly well dealt with, but Baxter makes the save. It's away to Surridge who holds up. We've got him as an advanced forward rather than a poacher this year, just reflecting the fact that our strikers are more mobile. We've got him, we've got Tommy Conway as well, and I'm hoping that that will make a difference. What doesn't is the fact that Naismith and Vandenberg have lost the header there. This game is becoming all about set pieces, and at half-time it is 1 goal apiece. I guess the reason Alex Scott didn't join Bournemouth in this save is that they are now a championship team, as you probably saw in the first half by the fact they're battering Luton Town, my club. With 5 minutes gone in the second half, we are on the front foot again. Vandenberg finds Alex Scott. Big ball into the box. Surridge up, but he can't win the header. I've got to say, I'm a bit worried about Scott this season because if he doesn't start well, I don't know how we address the balance in that midfield. Maybe once Bulat's settled, we go to a traditional midfield three with Scott running from a bit deeper. But for now, we are in trouble at the back as Hungbo gets in. And it's becoming a disastrous start. This is the first time we've conceded from open play. And Plymouth are 2-1 up. And you have to say, partly deservedly so. We're going to encourage the lads back into it because it's a very new look team. I mean, if you look at the 11 today, what have we got? 3 debutants in defence. 1 goalkeeper as Surridge heads wide. We've got Surridge new up front. 3 at the back 5. and Masengo coming back from loan. So it is half a team that wasn't here last year, as Freeman has got a free kick on halfway. Having said that, I didn't expect to lose it, I've got to be honest, as Klein gives it away to Pring, who finds Cornick. He's playing poorly. Again, as soon as they switch off the pitch, it goes wrong on it. As Pring, what are you doing? Speed it up a little bit, please. We asked to play at a higher tempo, and you're passing it as slowly as possible. Here's Masengo, though, and that's what he's in for. Gray through ball to Surridge, who's taken slightly wide. Two in the middle, the cross is poor, but it's only headed to Sykes, who's getting a rare start again today. Into the box from the front post. Surridge up and heads over. I know he's just settling in, but you can't keep missing chances like that. Joe Williams has now picked up a knock as well. We're going to have to make decisions in a moment, as Naismith carries the ball out from the back. Big ball up to Surridge. Loses his header to Maya Yoshida. Klein gets down the right. Support inside of him. It's back to Freeman. It's going to be a frustrating day, isn't it? I could not have imagined in the early start that we would now be 2-1 down. And it's about to get worse because Hungbo's in. That's got to be offside, referee. He's about 5 yards beyond the defensive line. What on earth are you waiting for? Let's go and get some subs on. What do we do with Bulat? His best position is as a Mazzala or as a ball winner. I don't really want to change the shape here. What I could do is put Masengo to that side and bring on Bulat on the left. Do I go for the experience of a Matty James? Do I go for McCrory, who's very settled here? I feel like we have to go for the new boy. He's nowhere near match fit either. I'm looking at his morale as a positive. We're going to bring off Harry Cornick for... It's going to have to be Benarouz, and we'll bring off Surridge for Conway. Benarouz is a bit more of a traditional winger on that side. He's a natural left footer, I feel. So we might just go for another winger on attack. Bulat we could put to a support duty just to try and get him up and have a long shot. What do we do with Masengo? We could push him up as well, go box to box. Let's really chase this game. Those three on there. Sepp Vandenberg, it's not really worked out at right back, to be honest. I might bring on George Tanner for the more attacking option. And do I go straight sub or do I take Bajcetic off? I think we're going to take off... No, Vandenberg. He joined the club later, so we'll go for him. 2-1 down, another warning sign gone. Can we get something out of this game and make it at least a positive opening to the season? It all looks a bit jumbled together at the moment, and I'm confident we will get this right. But it's going to take a little bit of time, and we need to get a good start if we want to be afforded that time. We've still not got the players on board, as Freeman goes back to Randell, given away to Masengo. This is where we break. Option over on the left, he's gone the wrong way. Now he gets the ball through though, it's brilliant. Oh, you idiot. How have you missed that, Tommy Conway? Not even near the target. It's a brilliant through ball from Masengo. He's sliced the defence open. He's put it on a plate for Tommy Conway. And he's decided he doesn't fancy playing football this time around. I'm going to put Bulat in a number 10 role, which is ambitious, I know. I could have brought on Mehmeti. I think I'm going to go for the experience of Matty James here. This is about making sure we get the job done. We've got, what, 10 minutes to go plus stoppage time. And I want to get an equaliser as Sykes finds Scott. Definitely the weakness in the team now is out wide until we get Conway fit, until we bring others into the team. Do we try and get one in on loan? We have tried earlier in the window. Ahmad Diallo was one we looked at but didn't get. As Baxter makes the save, it's a corner kick. And Plymouth look like they're going to win this game. Very frustrating performance because it's been an even game. Look at the expected goals. They've got half, we've got 1.5. We're 2-1 down. I mean, the defensive issues haven't changed, have they? I feel like we'll be better with that shielding and Scott will be better in the centre of midfield. And then eventually the midfield three will be Bulat, it will be Masengo and it will be Scott. As Tanner heads the ball away, but Stevens is there. We've pushed loads of players forward and now on the edge of the box, they've got midfielders free. I've gone a bit too aggressive in this game. I think I'm going to trial it for the next couple of away games. We're going to play a holding midfielder instead of a number 10. And hopefully we'll avoid results like this because we played promoted Plymouth. And after all of my excitement in pre-season, all of the wins, all of the quality, player unhappiness strikes at the wrong time. And we look disjointed in that one. We've got a lot of work to do. When we get this right, it's going to be great. But let's have a look at the schedule. We have got an easier League Cup tie to start. I mean, our last game before the transfer window shuts is Huddersfield. Our first one after is at home to relegated Crystal Palace. I've got to show you that, haven't I? So deadline day and Crystal Palace at home will be the next episode. But for now, let me know what you thought of that opening performance. More importantly, what you think of the summer signings, and will we get it right in time? We're taking a big leap of faith in youth players and people who are probably going to take 2 or 3 months to reach their quality. Will it happen in time, or will we get the sack? Can we replicate what we did last year? Let me know your thoughts to all of those questions down in the comments, and let me know if you think I've done the right thing this summer. Where would you improve? Would you look for another wide man, or would you trust these guys to develop? If you did enjoy this one though, please do put a thumbs up on the video. I hope you're looking forward to season 2 from this save. If you want to stay up to date with it and make sure you don't miss a thing, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We've also got our Build a Nation save continuing every other day. That playlist is up in the eye above, as well as our FM top 3s and our championship predictions from the real footballing world. Check out the podcast channel if you've not been there before. The Twitch channel's there too. We'll be live regularly throughout the week, including for a big watch along from Europe tomorrow. And thank you to HelloFresh, who you can find in the description, for discount off for your first 2 months. Thank you very much for following for a new year. Not the result we wanted, but promising signs off the pitch. Do you think the transfer work is going to work for us? We'll be back next time to find out.